A very warm welcome to this first tutorial about the Axon.ivy Cloud Services. This tutorial is all about getting started with the new service provided by Axon.ivy. Let's have a look at the table of content. First of all, we will do a sign up and registration together. After you get your activation, you can have access to the Engine Cockpit, which is the administration environment of your cloud. We will also have a look at the end user portal, which is provided in your service. And the end user portal provides you with the Axon.ivy Express, which is a completely no-code design environment. And in this environment, we will set up our first process made with the Axon.ivy Express module. And after that, we will have a general overview of the end user portal. Have fun with the next steps. The sign up and registration is very easy. You access your cloud services using the URL which is provided in this tutorial. As soon as you have reached this web page, you switch to sign up and you fill in the necessary information which is asked in this form. As soon as you did your sign up, you will get immediately an email with the next steps that you need to activate your cloud environment. After the sign up, you will get an email which asks you to activate your cloud services. To activate your account, just click on the link which is provided in your email. As soon as you get a success, which means that your email was validated, you will be provided with the login information for your cloud services within the next 2 to 3 minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, let's have a look if we have already received the information to log into our cloud services. It seems that there has another email arrived in our inbox, and here we can see all the necessary information that you need so that you can access to your cloud environment. Let's go through it step by step. First of all, we will have a look to the Engine Cockpit. The Engine Cockpit is the administration environment where you can manage your cloud service, which means that your engine is installed and that you can add users, you can add processes. This is more for administrators and will not be used in the rest of the tutorial. But still, let's have a look into this environment. To log into your Engine Cockpit, first of all, you will pass this link to your browser and you will be asked to log in with your credentials that you have entered at first, which means this is the email address that we have used and the password which is automatically generated from the service. As soon as you enter this information, you will have access to your Axon.ivy engine, which is the administration environment. In the following tutorial, we will have a deeper look into the Engine Cockpit. For now, we are all fine with the information that our engine is working fine and that we already have one application deployed, which we will have a look now right away. Okay, let's go back. So we were having a look to the Engine Cockpit. The next thing that we will look at is the demo portal, which means that you have an end user environment directly installed with your engine that you have just registered for. So let's have a look to this portal. We will log in with the link which is provided in the email, and we will have different users that you can work with. These users are automatically installed and added and have different rights and different possibilities to access information on this end user portal. Let's use admin for our first look into this portal. Okay, this is now the end user view of our portal, and as you can see, since we just installed it, there are no tasks available and no processes that you can choose on the left side, and of course there is no statistics about your tasks since there are no tasks available. So that you get a quick start with the end user portal, you have the possibility to build no code process based on Axon.ivy Express, which is one module provided in this portal. So let's start with our very first process based on Axon.ivy Express. Okay then, so let's get into the last step of this tutorial. We will set up together an Axon.ivy Express process. This is a completely no-code design environment integrated into this end user portal. Based on your permissions, you have access to this Axon.ivy Express module or not, and that's why I have logged in before with the admin user and password. To get to the Express module, I click on Show All Processes, and I can then use this link to create a new Express workflow. First of all, I need to define the process with a process name. And for this tutorial, let's take a process that you all know, that you might already have done in your company, but which is quite understandable. This is the Office supply process. With a little description, this process gives you the possibility to order office stuff. Okay, that's the first. So you can do a one-time process or you can do a repeatable process. Let's say that this process will be used by others and will be used more often. So I can directly deploy this process by using the repeatable type of process. For this process, I also want to create my own user interface, and that's why I leave it on create my own user face, and the process owner will be the admin user, which I have just logged in. So now I can start building my process with the first process step. So if I do have an office supply process, so I can order office stuff. And therefore, the first step would be place your order. Okay, so the type of the task is a user task. You can see that there are different options depending on your processes just to choose. And you also have able to start a selection where you can say, okay, who can start this process? To make it easier in this little tutorial, I will always use the same user. Otherwise, I do have to log out and log in with the different users. So if you then make your own process, make sure that you use different users or groups when you do select here. So for my tutorial, I will always go for the portal admin user, which is the user that I'm logged in now, so that I don't have to switch between. Of course, you can also use parallel task, which means that you can add more groups or more users in this form here. That's the first step. The next step of the process would be maybe to sign off or to approve this order. So you will approve this, This task type is not a user task, it is an approval, which is a new information that you have for process step 2. You also select a responsibility, and as I said, I will always use the same user or the same role, but please, in your own example, use different roles that you can then log in and log out with the specific users. I can change the expiry. Let's say that you have 3 days to approve this office supply order process. The last step will be, after the approval, will be deliver the order. And this will be a user task again. Responsibility, as I said before, I will always choose the same user or group. And now, for me, this process is done. I can place an order, I can approve an order, and I can deliver the order. So let's get to the next step. This will be the form creation, which means that I can not just use a process flow, I can also use within the task or process steps, I can define a specific form. Without knowing HTML5, without any coding experience, I can then create my own form. So let's do that together. Here I have different form elements to use, and maybe let's start with the simple one, which will be, maybe I have an option where I can deliver it to, and this is a text field, and this field is necessary. So I create this element. The next element would be, maybe, when do you want to have the delivery? This is also a required field. One more would be, maybe we can choose here, we can say, okay, we need to have a number field. So how many of this that you have choose you need, and this is also a required field. Okay, now we have that. Maybe we want to have the options to choose between, or to have a checkbox where we can say, okay, I need this or that at the same time. So let's use the checkbox form element to do so. Okay, the data provider here is a static data provider, which means that I provide the checkbox fields on my own. If I do have any system connected in the background, of course, I can take directly any data provider which comes from this third-party systems. Let's make it easy here, and let's start with maybe a pencil. I also want to have some paper and maybe also an eraser. So this would be my checkbox fields that I can choose, and I'll create also this form element. Let's go back and say, okay, maybe I also want to have a comment field, which I can place any comment, but this will not be a required field. So after the creation of these form elements, I have now the possibility to drag and drop the elements on the right side so that the styling will be the way I want to have it. So maybe first of all, where to deliver, let's put that on top. On the right side, I can say, okay, when I want to have it delivered and how many I do need of them. So I can place them in the same column. What's left? So I have left, what do you need? So this will be the checkbox. Let's put it here, and the comment field all below. So you can see easily drag and drop the elements from the left side to the right side. And of course, I can also make a preview by clicking on this button here. So I will see how this form will look like, and as I can see, it looks quite nice. I do have all the options that I have chosen before with the stars where it's required and the comment field all below. So everything looks good. Let's close it, and let's continue with the workflow. The approval, I don't need to put any special form behind it because it will be automatically an approval form. But for the delivery, I need to have more fields again. So let's say maybe let's say okay. I can say to whom I delivered it. And maybe, okay, let's make it simple and let's choose here when was the delivery. I create this form too, and now it's easy. I can say, okay, deliver to, and when it was delivered, to have a preview here also, I can see, okay, I can put a name in it and the date when it was delivered. Okay, so that's all the steps that I need to configure. So let's finish our workflow, and now it's available. So because this workflow is so nice and so good, I want to make it as a favorite in my process list. So let's do that also quickly here. As you can see, we are already now in the overview of the end user portal. So let's put here, I want to put a new process. And I remember that this process has something around Office as a name, and I start to type it and I can see, okay, this process obviously is available. And let's make a new icon in it which will be a bit nicer. Okay, we are in the office, so maybe a briefcase would be nice. I can add it, and I can see now here that I do have in my user favorites this new process that I can start. Okay, so let's start this process and check out if we have everything done the right way, which is supposed to, but let's click on it and I can see, okay, the process starts. I do have some breadcrumbs where I can see, okay, I have to place the order, approve the order, deliver the order, and then at the final review. Okay, so let's choose where I want to deliver it. Let's choose San Francisco. I want to have a pencil and a paper. And the delivery day would be, let's say, okay, Christmas time, 25th of December. How many do I need? Let's say I need 3 of both, and I can maybe do a little comment in it. Merry Christmas. Okay, so for me, this form is all filled in, and if I click on OK, the next person would get a task to start with. Since I'm the same user, I will directly get into the next step. Of course, this would normally be then a task assignment where you pick up the task and you continue. As you can see, I do have a task here now, and since I'm the same user, I can directly access it. Otherwise, I would have to log off and log in. And I click on the approve of the order. I can see all the details that have been filled out before, and I do have the possibility to add a comment from the approver. And I can approve or also reject it, but let's continue with the approval. So I approve it. So the next person in charge would be the guy who delivers the order. And since I'm the same person for all the users, I will already get the task to deliver the order. This is the task to start. And here I can see I do have all the information that has been filled out before, including the approval. But here I have the new form, which I have designed before, where I can say, okay, I delivered it to John Doe. And I really delivered it already on the 24th of December. So that's about it. I click on OK. And now the person who have started, which was me, the process gets a final review so that you can see that everything has been done the way you wanted it to. As you can see on the right side, you have new statistics. You have now the breadcrumbs all okay. And if I click on acknowledged, then the process is done. The task is done successfully, and I do not have any open tasks. So congratulations, this was your first process done in less than 15 minutes. Let's have a quick look at what the portal gives you. as functionalities out of the box. Of course, you have different possibilities to put your email settings. When do you want to get a reminder of your tasks that are still open? You can add absences and your delegate. You can change your languages. The languages that are provided is German, French, English, and Spanish. You can change your password or just simply click on information so that you know which version that you're running with. Of course, you can search for processes, full text for tasks, cases, and processes, or you can also have access to your statistics. And not only that, because if I click on show statistics, I can see, okay, there is task by priority. Since I don't have any task, this statistic is empty, but I always have the possibility to add a new chart. And now I can see, okay, I do have different charts already available, task by expiry, elapsed time of done cases. For example, I can see here how many time was spent there. And importantly, I can also decide what kind of statistic I want to have based on the information that I choose. So for example, if I say I just want to know what's going on with my office supply process and I click on apply filters, I can see that the statistic has changed, and maybe I want to say, okay, for the office supply process, I want to know the elapsed time of this specific office supply process. So I can say this chart I want to have on my dashboard, and this would be the elapsed time for the office supply process. So the filter will be applied on this statistic, and as soon as I click on OK and I go back to my statistics overview, I can see, okay, there is now a new statistic available. And if I go back to my dashboard, I can also see that I have more than just one statistic to switch. And this would be more or less the first intro about how you set up your Axon.ivy cloud services, how you can access to the Engine Cockpit, which is the administration environment, and how you can access the end user portal where you can even build your first process in less than 15 minutes, and where you have also the possibilities to run your statistics and to have your task list and case list ready. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and have fun with your new cloud services.